Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the Beat Lab. Here with Marcus, my main man.
Yo.
And our buddy Juan Zarate of the Dream Nexus, drummer, bad motherfucker. Welcome.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Get up on
for
that
having me.
mic. Don't be afraid of that shit.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, welcome, man. Freaking, it's been in the works. I'm glad to finally have you here.
Yeah, man. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, no shit. So, dude, what's been going on with the Dream Nexus? You guys been recording, or you guys been gigging? What's been going down?
Well, right now we're just in the process of trying to get something recorded. You know, we're like way overdue to put something out.
Yeah.
And as far as shows go, the shows are a little slow just because of my work schedule and, you know, my brother's work schedule. Actually, we just had to cancel one in Kingsbury next weekend. We were supposed to play up there with So This Is Suffering and I can't remember the other bands, but some other cool bands. But our next show is in Van Nuys at the White Oak Music School.
Oh, hell yeah. You guys have been playing with some fucking good bands, too, man.
Yeah, and actually the one in Van Nuys, it's gonna have, man, I forgot the name of the, not the headliner, but the other one. I have to look it up. But
Is it like an instrumental show, or is there going to be bands?
no, it's mostly metal. It's
Okay.
all like metal,
Right on.
metal bands.
Dude, Juan is a bad motherfucker on the drums, dude.
Thanks, man.
He's a bad motherfucker, dude. I jock the progressive metal shit, dude, only because it's super difficult and I don't have the time to fucking practice that shit because it's hard.
Dude, it's very hard.
It's
There's
very
so many
hard.
aspects that go into it.
Yeah, man.
I mean, every instrument you have to know your shit.
Every time I talk to Juan too, dude, he's like telling me how, you know, the hours of practice he puts in the lab and stuff. I'm jealous that he gets that much time to practice, dude, because I sure as shit don't get to play my drums as much as I'd like to.
You must have a set up spot then where you can play without worrying about noise.
Well, that's the thing, man. It's like you have to have a cool spot to play. I mean,
Yeah.
where it's not too loud unless you got an electric kit. You know, you can't just play whenever you want. You know, it's not like having a guitar and like the convenience of just being in the corner of a room and just hooking up and playing, practicing whenever.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I just try to make time for it the best I can.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I know. I battle with my wife. You know, she's like, you know, and I don't blame her, man. The shit's loud, you know,
Yeah.
and it'll rattle pictures off the walls.
Yeah,
The
especially in
shit's
here,
so
right?
loud,
Yeah.
You know, and the back wall of the Beat Lab right here. That's on the other side is the kitchen, and my wife's got these shelves with wine glasses and wine bottles. I didn't take those, and I'm supposed to. I go in there before I play, and I got to take all that shit down and put it on the kitchen table. And fuck, man, if I don't take that shit down, I've knocked wine bottles and wine glasses, and you come out and you don't hear it because you're in your fucking jamming, and you come out and there's just fucking glass all over the floor, and then you're just like, fuck, man. And then, you know, my old lady will get home and she'll asshole me for fucking hours over the shit, and you're just like, god damn, you know. And that's when she's not home, and if she's home and I'm trying to play, it's like that's a wrap. So
Yeah.
you just got to get in where you fit
Dude,
in.
you could do that with guitar too, man. I've knocked over some shit before.
Yeah, but
turning up a little bit.
You can
know?
also,
but
like,
you have the
play,
volume knob.
Yeah, you can control.
You don't have a
that
volume knob
shit.
with yours, yeah.
No, it's fucking loud, and that's all.
yeah. I mean, you
That's
can play
all, yeah.
soft, but you can't really practice.
But that's not
well,
practicing
right? Yeah.
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not the perform. Like, you're practicing the performance aspect of your playing. You got to play at volume.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no way around it.
Yeah, just to practice technique and all, you know. And
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, you can't.
Right.
You can't like Romanini came over here and we were jamming. He's like, Teddy, you're so fucking loud. He's like, can you play quieter? And I was trying to like play softer. I'm like, stop. I was like, dude, number one, go to Guitar Center and buy some fucking decent earplugs because I can't do this. Like, I was just like pussyfooting on the drums. I'm like, this ain't fun. I was like, you know what, dude? I get to play drums like a handful of times a week, and when I play, I want to play loud. So fucking quit crying about your ears hurting and rock some decent earplugs because this shit's unsat.
Yeah, the one, that reminds me of like one of the first shows I went to, like first metal shows was at Jerry's. I was probably in early high school because I didn't get into metal until I was later, like older. And I remember how loud it was in there. Like it almost made me sick. Like I had to walk out, and I was like, dude, I feel like crap, man. It was a crazy. I forgot what band. It was some metal band playing. It was fucking.
Yeah, that basement's pretty small.
Yeah.
And they usually have a pretty good PA in there, especially with a metal band and shit. You know, that just.
Yeah, it's loud in Jerry's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, back in the day, they used to have a lot of good bands come. I mean, Unearthed has been through there. Black Dahlia Murder, we were just talking about that. I've seen All Shall Perish.
I've seen Bleeding Through.
The Human Abstract.
Yeah.
Periphery. I mean.
Periphery played Jerry's?
Yeah, I saw. I don't know how they fit on the stage. It was crazy, but they did.
They got 3 guitar
It was a long
players,
time ago.
like,
It was when their first Periphery CD came out. Which one it was called? The blue one. I
the
forgot.
Periphery
Is
one.
it just called one? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Periphery.
Yeah.
With Jetpack was yes, and yeah, that's a bad fucking record, dude.
That's cool. Yeah.
They released those records like Periphery 1 and 2. They released them with vocals and instrumental, right?
Yeah, because Bulb Misha does most of the writing, if not all of it. He used to. Now they're collabing more.
Yeah.
But he would put all of his stuff like on Bandcamp and SoundCloud. You could listen to the whole instrumentals before the vocals, and then I think you're right. I think they released both of them.
Yeah, 1 and 2 without vocals, but they
That's
didn't
cool.
do like Alpha and Omega without vocals.
No.
Those weren't as progressive though. Those were like a little more, like kind of.
That's their
I don't want
best
to
stuff,
say
man.
Alpha and Omega.
Man, dude, I love that CD. Well, both of them.
Dude, I like Periphery 2 the best, man.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even remember that one.
What?
What songs were on that one?
Like Scarlet and
That was a good song.
what the fuck was that name of that song, dude? It was
Sounds like it's one of your faves. You know all the songs.
yeah,
pretty good.
definitely. Fuck, man.
I love on the new one, Priestess, 22 Faces. I mean, Alpha.
Dude, there's some good tracks on there.
And it's different, like you said. It's not as jumbled together. Everything flows together, man. Spencer, their singer too, is in his element now. Like all those complicated times, he knows how to like when to come in, when to let them, play their instruments, and it's perfect.
Just the music writing in general.
Yeah, because before some of the parts were kind of like, I don't know if that works. It was almost too much, but now they're finally getting their thing going, and I love it. I love it, man.
What'd you think of the Clear album? That little concept thing where they did everybody wrote like their own song.
I just heard that actually like 2 weeks ago at my buddy's house. He was like, "You never heard it?" So we listened to it, and there was 2 of the songs that really stood out a lot. I don't know. What
there's
called.
a couple gems on there, but I don't know. It seems like it was kind of rushed. The production quality on it didn't feel as good as like their other stuff.
That's what I'm worried about. Their new CD's already almost done, and
You're
it's
like,
only
man,
been.
that was quick. That was like
that their label pushed them to do that. Like
because
of how
it
good
was so popular. Yeah,
I hate when labels do that, man. Let them take their time and write. If it takes, I'd rather wait 5 years for something
a great
amazing
album, dude. Yeah.
than 1 year and like 2 songs are good or 3
because
songs.
most bands they'll put something out and then tour for a year.
Yeah,
right?
at
Or a
least.
couple years if
Yeah.
the album's good.
They
and then
did
put
have a
something out.
fat bus though, so they had their Pro Tools rig on the bus and they were writing while they were on tour. So I mean the game's changed so much, whereas album cycles they're not as long as they were because bands back in the day they didn't have the capabilities where what was the best thing they had, like a 4-track Tascam with a cassette, and then now you can actually do like album quality guitar recordings on the bus direct, like using the program you use, Bias Effects, or all the Periphery guys are using Axe Effects, right? So they have their Axe Effects rig, they plug it in the computer and they go.
Yeah, my whole studio setup at my house, I could literally take that whole thing with me anywhere pretty easy. I mean, it's just my little Scarlett interface, which is
2x2.
USB powered, and then my Mac, and then my speakers,
Exactly.
So I could do.
And you don't even have to take the speakers. You can go headphones.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to take
so
them.
you just take your interface and your laptop, you
And
can
you're
throw it
good
in
to
a
go.
backpack.
Yeah. That's awesome now. You could do that.
Back to Dream Nexus, though, you guys are playing, super progressive instrumental metal. Have you guys thought about adding a singer? Has that ever been in the conversation, or are you like, fuck that. We don't want to deal with that shit. Let's just keep it the way it is.
As far as adding a singer, no.
No.
Never really talked about it. Well, we did, but we just we decided that it was just going to be just straightforward instrumental. But we've talked about maybe doing like a metal band or like different side projects with a vocalist. Just throw some different styles out there. Because progressive instrumental isn't very big. The biggest
Yeah,
shows, you know what I mean?
well, the market for
So,
it,
like,
I mean, as a whole,
it's still coming
pretty,
up.
It's pretty small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's really not a whole lot of money to be made there yet. The genre is still kind of growing.
As long as there's metal in the name of what you're doing, there's not going to be really much money in it. I mean, there's really not, unless
Yeah,
you're
that's
like,
true,
Periphery, unless you're like one of these mega bands, and even them, I'm sure they're not making millions and millions of dollars.
they're living pretty good though.
I'm sure they're not fucking, going to Taco Bell and eating off the dollar menu, but they're pretty popular. But like a lot of the bands that we really like, those guys are still struggling. Like a band like Monument. Like I guarantee you, those guys are not making hardly any money at all.
Well, they're still on their up. They're still on the up and up right now though. They're semi new, even though we've heard about them for a while.
What are they on? They're on their second or third album,
which
maybe?
is super early still.
Yeah.
It happens. Sometimes it happens. You write your first CD and it's
catches
a big hit,
fire,
but
and you
not
go.
all the time. Yeah.
And then some bands like they'll put out 10 albums and they never ever like really reach that pinnacle of success.
Yeah, I think Human Abstract, I believe their Nocturne album, I think that was their first album. Maybe second.
The one with
They might have had one before, like an EP or something.
I think they
Polaris
did.
and,
Yeah, but for their second or for their first like actual full length, man, that's one of my favorite CDs of all time.
that's a
No, that
great
is a
fucking
every
album.
song.
really good album, man.
Man, that guitar work, AJ. I wish I think he's doing like classical guitar stuff now in LA, from what
Really?
I heard. But man, that album is so good, so perfect.
I was super bummed when they lost their vocalist, and then they did that
Nathan.
Digital Veil album.
I didn't like that album.
Oh my god, it just wasn't right.
Yeah. Yeah.
They lost the dynamic that they had.
Yeah.
And you lose a member, especially a vocalist. How many bands can pick up and continue with a new vocalist?
Yeah.
It usually changes the style,
Yeah,
man.
it's-
Just over time, even if they keep the same people in the band, the style just seems to change.
Yeah.
Over after 3-4 albums.
Look
like,
at Vela Maya with their new vocalist. They went from super brutal to like pop metal in over the course of...
Well, they have the clean. Yeah, they have the
they-
chorus hook, and then they have the verses, and it's still very progressive and different, but it has that
It's
hook.
not as brutal as...
No, their
as
old
the
stuff was
old
just
shit.
straight screaming the whole time, which to me I never really honestly liked that much.
Really?
I always wanted them to have a clean singer on top of what they were doing, but
Right before Brandon left, the old vocalist, they
Mm-hmm.
put out that track Subject Zero. Did you hear that?
I don't think so.
I don't think I've heard that.
Oh my god, it was the best thing they've ever done, and it was like right before he left, and I guess they just had some creative differences, and he wanted to do something else.
Yeah.
So he took off, but
I've always loved them though. I mean, I like their old stuff and their new stuff.
Killswitch Engage, they picked up right where they left off.
With their originals. Well,
so they went back to
Yeah.
the original singer, but there's a whole sect of fans that are
pro Howard.
pro Howard, and which I mean I do prefer Howard's albums over
Even the new one. Have you heard
no
the new
no
one?
the
in its
new
entirety?
one's
That's good.
insanely good.
That might be one of my favorite Killswitch
that holds
albums.
up with anything that Howard did.
The End of Heartache.
I'm not gonna say it's better, but I'm gonna say it's just as good.
Yeah, The End of Heartache's another one of my favorite CDs ever. So I don't know
good.
if I could say it beats it or if it's the same, but it's pretty
good.
close.
It's
Yeah,
really,
I actually
really
haven't
good.
heard it, man.
No?
And,
The
newer
yeah,
one?
Check it out.
It's good. I've heard it one time and I listened to it all the way through, and dude, every song I liked. It's real catchy and his vocals are good. Everything.
What the last record, the record before that, the first record with
Jesse.
Jesse Leach. That one felt like they really rushed that record out.
There was a few good songs, and then some of them
Yeah.
were just kind of
the ballad that they had.
Mhm.
That was a great fucking song.
Yeah.
And it had a really really good music video too. I was like, damn, that's really good. So I mean, you've seen the potential of what Jesse could do on that record, and then with this one that just came out, it's just phenomenal.
Dude, they're one of the first. I know In Flames is kind of one of the main genre starters as far as that whole metalcore kind of thing. If I'm right, they've been around since
they've been around a long
90s,
time. Yeah.
But Killswitch was one that was not too far behind, and they're still out making good albums. That's crazy to me.
They're still headlining big tours.
Yeah, I think they're one of the few metalcore bands that
are still
big.
relevant.
I mean, yeah.
Well,
still
that
come out with music.
those
and stuff,
guys are making money. Because look at the size of the concerts that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You'd tell by the venue how much money these guys are making.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing the basement of Jerry's Pizza, you're eating dollar menu. You're playing the main stage at Knot Fest.
Yeah.
You're doing okay. So just as a whole, man, it's just sad because these are the Beethovens and Mozarts of our generation are the players that are within these like progressive metal bands. These are the absolute best musicians in the world, and they're eating breadcrumbs. It's just sad that you put that much work into your instrument to become that proficient, to be have a level of mastery that most people will never have.
Yeah, for sure.
And you fucking will never make any
and
money.
it happens too often, with like good musicians, like they're consistent with their style and just always putting out good music, but just with times changing, they just like we were talking about metalcore, like Killswitch might be, one of the only bands they're still, we said relevant,
Yeah.
I know when I was in high school, I think it was when metalcore was like at its peak with like Darkest Hour. It was like really big at the time, and As I Lay Dying, they're coming out with a bunch of cool stuff. But
Ocean Between Us.
Yeah, the Ocean Between Us, all that stuff. Just with times changing, it's like just doesn't last.
You know what it is too? I think it's the product on stage. You see Killswitch Engage live, it's amazing. They're super super tight. It's a great show. One of the best bands I've ever seen ever. Tightest bands consistently is As I Lay Dying before Tim Lambesis went to prison for trying to kill his wife. Right?
That stuff that they put out right before all that shit was going on. It was actually really good.
Yeah,
I was excited for it.
What CD was it? The red cover. I forgot what it was called.
Did it actually get released?
Awaken.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, they put out a couple singles, but did the album get released?
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the last one that did get released. I don't know if it's the same one you're talking about, but it has a red skull. It's like has a skull on the front. It's all red. I think it's something Awake.
Yeah, I think it's.
Oh,
Awake.
I didn't even know it was out, man. Like I just I heard a couple singles. And,
good record, dude.
Yeah,
and they're great live. A band like
they were
they were a great band. Well, Woven War, right? Those guys are fucking bad too.
Yeah, they're pretty good, man.
But they're not As I Lay Dying, and they're playing like Jerry's Pizza.
But see, I respect them because they actually did it right. Because I don't like it when bands lose a singer or lose somebody that's important.
And they try to continue.
And they
they
want to keep the same name. And they did the right thing. They got a new singer. It's the same band with a different singer, and they changed the name, and now they're a different thing. It's harder because you almost got to start over in a way.
Well, they did. Yeah. I mean, they're not playing.
Well, you're not starting from the bottom because they're members. They have connections in the industry. They still have their endorsements and all that. They're not going to lose it.
Just putting the new name out and everything.
Yeah, that's still kind of going to take some time, man. But I respect them a lot more for doing that than trying.
They're getting ready to release their second record. Woven War is.
Yeah, are they?
Yeah, and their first record was really good. I still listen to that record. It's good. I like that new singer too, and there's no screams in it at all. It's all clean vocals.
Yeah, that's kind of more what I'm leaning towards as I get older is progressive stuff or metal in general, but with clean
vocals. Yeah,
I love screaming though. It has its place, man. I love heavy stuff too. But
too heavy though. You get into like some of these like death metal, like Deicide and.
I can't get into death metal, straight death metal. Yeah, I don't.
I think with when you have some like a vocalist that's doing clean vocals, you could play with the music a little bit more.
Yeah,
man. Like you could mix in metal and then like
more
progressive stuff like you were talking. And just
That's a good point. Yeah.
Bring more styles out. I
Yeah,
guess.
and you
When
can
you get someone screaming fucking just brutal ass shit the whole time, like
It's gonna
you kind of
get
have to do blast
the
beats
same
or,
thing.
you
Yeah.
know,
Okay.
like,
Do this thing. It's like a formula. It's like you scream here, we do the breakdown, and then you scream here, and then
and then I blast.
we do the tremolo, the tremolo picking,
Yeah.
and then, you do the blast. I mean, you can definitely play around more with the clean vocalist. I mean, with all the instruments, like you said, it opens up everything, which is
Right,
really
right,
cool. Yeah.
yeah.
But finding that vocalist, it's tough, man.
Kind of
It's
like taking my progressive metal guitar player friend here and dragging him into my country band.
Yeah. I never thought I'd be doing that, but it's cool.
It
I like
sounds
everything,
good,
man.
right?
Yeah, I like all styles of music, so
I can't wait to
it's paying off now.
I can't wait to get that EP done and show it to people. I know Lucas is very insistent on keeping the material under wraps
yeah.
until it's complete.
I thought we were keeping the whole thing under wraps, but apparently not. Now
No,
you're telling everybody-
it's not a mystery that we're doing the project.
Okay, cool. Now I didn't know.
No, the project's out there, but
Oh.
the material, we want to keep it. We want to keep it a surprise and
It's
and
gonna be
debut
cool.
it. Yeah, it's gonna be really good, man.
I'm
Is
going
it
back
just
to my
straight
roots.
like Southern rock?
It's like Southern rock with a little country flair.
It's none of this stupid
Yeah.
pop
Yeah, it's
country
not
stuff.
pop
It has
country at
we
all.
all of us are on the same boat. We don't like that. I like old country because I started playing blues. I used to play Santana stuff, Van Halen. Then I moved on to metal as I got older and kind of kept up with that. But it's cool because I'm going back to like the older stuff I used to play and mixing. We were talking about earlier, like throwing some sweep stuff in there, some arpeggios, and kind of throwing people for a loop. It's going to be different, which I think is
that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think the more styles you play, the better. Like just as far as writing, you know what I mean? You just think of more stuff,
Yeah.
different ideas when you're playing different genres at one time.
Yeah, music
kinda
is
builds your creativity a little bit.
yeah,
more, you know?
everything has a root, man. There's you're still going to go back to those, like in guitar, the scales, it's everything's based off of major, minor scales.
Yeah.
Every type of music, it's just adapting to that style and the tone, everything, the style. So it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. For me, it's so much more. It's not stressful. You sit down, you can groove, and it's it's super laid back. It's a lot of fun to play.
Yeah.
So.
Will you guys ever play live?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're still in like the building phase, I guess. We're still like we just added Mark literally this week. We were searching out a lead guitar player, and I was like, we got to give. You don't think about Luke wasn't really thinking about Mark because, he was thinking about Mark as a metal guitarist. I'm like, no, this motherfucker plays like Joe Bonamassa and Stevie Ray Vaughan and all kinds of shit. He's like, all right, bring him down, And then he played on one of our demos, and Luke's like, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. He's in. He's like, I have like a high school fucking crush on Mark.
Oh,
It was funny, man. So that's where we're at now. Now we're hitting the ground running, and we're getting this project like full steam ahead. So I'm excited. I know
Cool,
Mark's
man.
excited. Luke's definitely excited. So I'm excited to share it with everybody. It's gonna be fun. So hopefully, our goals by the end of this calendar year, by the end of 2016, we're gonna get in the studio, and we're gonna get an EP done. So that's where we're at.
Yeah. What as far as I was going to ask you about influences like on your guys'
drumming.
band. Yeah. The band as a whole and drumming too in general. Like what is?
Well, we all have like metal influences, and more my brother Gilbert. He's always been into death metal, and and so am I a little bit. But with the drums, with the style that we play, I listen to a lot of like Chon. I know you guys have heard that band.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Chon,
Is that how you pronounce
Skella
it?
Summit.
I thought it was Chon.
Chon.
Like Beto
like
and
Chonies,
Chon.
like
Chon,
Chonies.
Chon.
Yeah, like Beto
Chon.
and Chon. Beto and Chon.
Yeah, man. Scale the Summit. Pat Skiffington. He's a really badass progressive drummer that I take a lot of influence from. And and then we throw metal in there as well. Like actually blast a little bit on some parts and use a lot of double bass. So it's cool. We get to mix up just the progressive with the metal and everything.
Yeah.
All our influences in one. Just
Yeah, and like a lot of the stuff's like real syncopated, like chuggy. So that stuff's cool, man.
yeah.
That's super, super hard to play, man. For me, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, I couldn't do it, man. At first, like we throw in like time signatures in there, like odd time signatures, and it's just the way my brother would write. He would just write them like that. And before I was just playing just 4/4, and and he's like, "You'll just count when you play." I was like, "Dude, I can't fucking count and play at the same time." I'm either like trying to play and like do a cool fill, or I'm counting.
Yeah.
And that's just where practice comes in, I guess. Just gotta
break it down piece by piece. Same thing with the guitar. Like, it was a whole new learning curve for me coming from that old style to that. And that's how I started approaching it, is taking small pieces of, if I heard something crazy complicated, I was like I think Veil of Maya, when I heard It's Not Safe to Swim Today,
God,
I was
love
like,
that song.
there's no way I'm going to learn this, because I had never heard I forgot what, it was like a 9/8 or some crazy weird pattern. And then, but you look at it and you just break it down, man. You can learn it. Same thing with probably the drum, like with the kick, you just hear the kick. Okay, it's this and this, and then you sit there and do that part and then move on.
Yeah, you just have to break down the signatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
where
started
the downbeat is.
with
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
with the odd times shit. I started playing that stuff like in high school with playing along to Rush albums. Because I was playing like exclusively to like Metallica records when I was a kid, and my dad's like, "You want to learn some hard shit?" Like, boom, he laid like Moving Pictures and 2112 and stuff. I'm like, oh wow, all right, this is cool. And like Neil Peart, and listening to Neil Peart now, you're like, wow, that's really, really not hard to play. Like a lot of the shit. I mean, it's still pretty difficult, but compared to the prog drummers that are playing now, even a lot of Tool is mild compared to
But at the time,
that was like the pinnacle. You're like, oh my god, that's the peak of prog. Back in the 90s.
Right,
now
right.
The peak of Prague.
The
I like
peak
that.
of Prague.
Never heard that.
Now you just got all kinds of motherfuckers, like the guys we were talking about earlier, like Anoop and Alex, that are just, those guys are murderers, dude. That's the murderers row of drummers.
It's a crazy style of playing. Before, a lot of people say don't overcomplicate, stick to the grooves, but with progressive metal, you
have to
overcomplicate it. But there's a right way to do it still, though. Like, there's a fine line. You gotta know how to work that.
To be tasteful,
and that's hard, dude.
Yeah.
Like, if you're just sitting there as a guitar player the whole time, it's gonna get old.
It's not as enjoyable.
Yeah,
right?
you have to have the groove parts in there. And
it's definitely impressive. Like, you got to mix like your impressive stuff with just like the regular, just 4/4
head bobbing
rhythms in there.
Just to
make
that's what
it
it's about. Yeah.
So, you just got some new gear, man. What are you playing on now?
Well, I actually haven't had this. It's been like a year now, I guess.
It was a year ago.
The Tama Imperial Star.
Yeah, do you
kit.
like that?
Yeah, man, it's a solid kit.
What is that, birch, maple?
It's actually just bop wood.
Bop?
Yeah. It's just one of the lower end
Yeah.
kits, but it's a solid kit, man.
Yeah.
I was just I was playing a Pearl before, which I think was a maple kit, and this Tama was my first one, and I just wasn't trying to invest too much because I wasn't, I mean, I played the Tama before, but I didn't know, like, over time owning a kit how well it was gonna hold up.
Yeah.
So I kind of just got the Imperial Star. And yeah, man, for the quality, for the price, the quality's fucking great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tama's awesome, dude. I'm looking to upgrade now to the Superstar, which is a maple Tama kit.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The I really like the sound of it's the Tama Star Classic Bubinga.
Yeah.
That's what Alex Rudiger plays.
Yeah.
That
I think he plays the hybrid Bubinga and birch.
Okay.
Yeah, on the shell. I think the outside is birch and the inside is Bubinga wood.
Okay.
But yeah,
the drummer from Mastodon uses that same kit too. Is that Star Classic Bubinga? So, and I know David Silvera, he was playing the Bubinga kits like way back in the day.
Really?
Yeah. And I never even heard of Bubinga until like a couple years ago. So I guess it's been out there. It's just kind of low key.
Yeah, I don't think manufacturers were actually put in the kit until like you said a couple years ago. I think it was kind of more rare back then, but I noticed more in Tama with throwing that Bubinga wood in there.
Yeah, because I
cool.
don't think DW offers a Bubinga kit unless it's like a Timeless Timber or like one of their like exclusive, like super high end kits.
Yeah.
You know, which even their lower end kits are almost unaffordable. You know,
Yeah.
everything Tama or DW puts out is super expensive. They're just one of those companies.
Yeah, I've only seen $1,000 kits, man. I never seen anything lower
less
than
than
that.
that.
No.
You know what I do
All they
have to
advertise
say
and
is they have the it's the PDP concept series. It's like the highest end Pacific drum kit, and I played one of those when I was at the DW factory. They had one set up they have this like big kind of showroom, and they have like 5 or 6 different kits that you can try in there, and they'll have all the different shell configurations so you can really hear what you like. That's how I found this kit here. It's the HVX kit. I was just so impressed with the way the kick drum sounded. I had to have it, you know. But that the PDP concept series was like, it was just as good.
Yeah, I forgot that PDP was made by DW actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of like the more of the lower end.
Yeah,
kits,
it's like
right?
the like the Fender Squire or the Epiphone of DW.
But with drums, like if you buy like a really cheap kit like that, you can still get away with it making it sound pretty decent, right? Like with guitar,
Yeah.
if you buy a
No, for
Squire,
sure.
it's most likely going to be it's not going to stay in tune.
Right.
The action's going to be crazy. You can set it up and the pickups are going to suck, but with a drum set, I mean, can't you just buy like decent
decent heads?
Heads and
Well,
yeah,
the,
you get the
the,
right
the
heads
big
and
thing
everything.
with drums is the most important part of a drum is your bearing edge. It's that sharp angle that the drum head sits on.
Oh.
Right. So if a drum's not completely flat and round, and that bearing edge has any kind of like ripple in it at all, your drum will never tune right.
Right.
You know, so that's the thing. It's the manufacturing and how fast they're pushing those drums out the door. The bearing edge isn't going to be perfect.
So the cheaper ones, they're going to come out of tune pretty quick then?
They just won't ever tune like perfectly.
Oh, the
You know?
pitch, really?
Yeah, the
Because
pitch.
the
You'll always have like that
flaw in the
It's a
it's
flaw
not even.
in the bearing edge.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So you could take a drum, like sometimes like I know Pork Pie still does it. You could take a drum to Pork Pie and they'll
Pork Pie?
recut. They'll recut your bearing edge.
Oh,
So you could take a like a Pearl Export $500 drum kit, have your bearing edges cut and have it.
yeah. How much
perfect.
though?
You know, it's
For
an
the whole
investment.
set.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
Why,
like
you might as well spend extra money and get a better kit.
By the time you recut all the bearing
Yeah.
edges, if you have a 5-piece kit,
Mm.
you'll take a $500 kit and you'll make it like an $800 kit. You bought that $800 kit,
And you don't need
the
to do
bearing
that.
edges are
Yeah.
going to be okay. You know,
Right.
so that's the thing. You know, it's just the quality control that goes into them. You know,
Yeah. And how big of a difference does the wood make on the sound? Like, is
it's
that
huge.
because I know guitars, it's a big debated thing on electric guitars. Some people are like hardcore. Oh yeah, the wood makes it sound different. But to me, on an electric guitar, you're
It's
not
like
gonna.
an audiophile
It's plugged
thing,
into
man.
an electric. You know,
Right.
it's all
The
wired.
amp's gonna color the sound more than
Well,
anything.
no, the pickups are.
Well, yeah,
We're talking about the
Right.
guitar. I'm talking about the
Right.
guitar. The
I think,
Okay,
I
the
think
guitar
for
itself.
guitars, it might be like durability, like
Yeah,
the type of wood
definitely.
it is. You know, the stronger,
Mhm.
more longer it lasts, the straighter the neck will stay. And
Yeah, warping
stuff
and
like
all that.
Yeah, all that.
But
But in drums, the wood makes all the difference, man.
yeah,
Yeah, you just
You can definitely hear, when you have like a birch kit versus a maple kit.
it's
they're
the way
gonna
the sound travels like through the and
It's,
bounces
yeah,
off the
it's
wood.
how it's how the
Exactly.
drum resonates.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because the shell vibrates.
Yeah.
That was the big thing. Like in the '90s, those like isolated tom mounts. Remember, like on cheap drum sets, you'll see the mount and the tom arm will go inside the drum, and it's like mounted on the shell.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
So they found out, they're like, well, shit, man, like that's really cutting the resonation of the drum. And one of the first kits that I remember seeing with the mounted toms like this was DW in the 90s. And they figured out, like, oh, if we hang the shell, like with these rubber mounted freaking Huyas on the lugs, you know, the shell can breathe and it'll vibrate.
It just kind of hangs more
Yeah.
when it's not hooked up directly to the wood.
Exactly.
I mean, it's kind of coming off the bearings there, and the drum is hanging. You know, it's not.
Rather than an arm
just
like being it's
Pressure,
stuck
like,
in,
and then there's pressure, constant pressure on the wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all
Exactly.
around the drum, the sound will resonate more
Yeah.
when it's
And it's
when
uneven
set up
sounding.
like that.
Well,
Right.
with the old setup, it'd be uneven sounding.
Yeah.
Too. Crazy.
Yeah,
no,
that's a big deal with drums, you know. So, and even a low end kit, like you could buy a $500 Pearl or Tama now, and it's gonna come with suspended toms now.
Yeah.
You know, they just figured out that that's just the way to do it. But you know, it's the innovations in drum manufacturing that make the drums just sound that much better. But yeah, you could take a cheap kit, man. I mean, the first shit I recorded when I was in high school, I played on a kit that my grandma bought at a Guitar Center yard sale. It was like a 1960s or 70s Pearl Maxwin, which was like the lowest of low end kits, and it was like a 30-year-old kit when I got it. It had concert toms where it didn't even have bottom drum heads, so everything was super boingy, you know, you know. They just they resonated for days. It sounded like shit, but you could throw enough. You throw those little Remo rings on there and a little duct tape with some paper towels and, you know, muffle them down. And when you recorded it, it actually sounded pretty good, you know?
Yeah, luckily with drums, there's a lot of ways you can manipulate the tone. You know?
Yeah.
Like you said with lower end kits, just the heads that you put on the bottom, on top, and the studio rings that I see you got on the floor tom there.
You got moon gels on there.
Oh, is that part of the head itself?
Yeah, that's
the
part of
ring
the
around
head.
it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then there's moon gels for, you know, just to cut the ring. But really with the DWs, man, you don't even need moon gels, but I like that really like kind of muffled tight
Yeah, it always helps.
tom
yeah.
sound, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you can hear the difference. Like I had that Mapex. Mark, I know you never got to see that kit. You know, rock hard North American maple, same type of wood as this kit, but they're a world apart in the way they sound. And I had it set up with the same configuration. I was playing a 4-piece then, too, and it was a 12-inch rack mounted tom and the 16-inch floor tom, and they couldn't. There's, you know, they were two different things.
Mm-hmm.
They did not sound the same at all.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a huge difference in drums and tones and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know. Back to guitars, though, man. Like, you're talking about the pickup. Shit, you could mount a fucking EMG on a shovel, and it'll sound like
an EMG.
like an EMG, you know? It doesn't even matter what you put it in.
Yeah. You know, the only time I think you'll get the wood making a big difference maybe on like hollow body guitars, semi-hollow, and acoustics, you know, because that's what's projecting the sound.
Yeah.
But there's hardcore, like I said, there's people that totally believe that the wood makes a difference on electrics, so they probably think I'm crazy for saying that, but I don't know.
I don't know how the wood could resonate with like some of these like super hard like candy finishes. Like I don't know what it's called, but is it a like a lacquer? Not a lacquer. Fuck, man. You know when like you get just a black guitar and it's just that thick, like black opaque finish.
Like a flat, or are
Yeah.
you talking about gloss, like glossy, like clear
Dude,
coat?
like the Jackson, like when you get a guitar that's like that kind of,
Yeah.
where it's just that.
It's
thick.
that flat color,
Yeah.
right? It's not
Like how the fuck is a body gonna resonate with that shit on there? You know?
Yeah.
It's almost like you'd have to have a natural finished guitar for the wood to resonate like that.
Yeah, and even so, it's not gonna really carry through the amp, unless you're getting, like I said, into hollow body stuff. You know, but
It's
still,
all audiophile shit, man. It's these guys that are like wearing $1,000 headphones that are like laying on bean bags and doing lots of drugs that are telling you this information, dude. Oh man,
Yeah.
dude. So are you still playing in that punk rock band or?
no, Life Fell.
Life Fail,
No,
yeah.
I had to drop out of that just because how busy we were, you know.
I knew you were spreading yourself too thin.
Yeah,
dude.
man. With my family and work, and then the other band, and I knew when I joined it was going to be temporary, you know, just
Did they find another
kind of
drummer?
get them
Is that
going and
band
stuff.
still
Yeah, they
going?
got another drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right before I left, we actually put a little demo out. Little, I think a 6-track demo that you can find on the page, the Facebook page.
Yeah.
with Life
Where'd you
Fell.
guys record that at?
Just in the room.
Yeah.
We had the other guy come down. I'm not sure what exactly he was using.
Just at your
But,
rehearsal space you guys recorded?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just an insulated room. It came out okay, you know.
Like I
Good
said,
enough.
man, you don't like Mark can take his recording studio in a backpack, whereas before you needed a whole room full of shit. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
now a compressor is a freaking plug-in, not a 4-rack space freaking monstrosity with tubes and shit in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's what me and my brother were talking about, man. How we were talking about putting something out, discussing our options of whether going into a professional studio or going with, when I mentioned you know,
Yeah.
either going with someone with like an in-house studio, and we were just trying to figure out like you're gonna pay more in a professional studio, but how much more do they actually have?
Yes.
You know, like as far as
You gotta be careful though, man. I've recorded at nice studios before in town. I'm not gonna name the name,
names.
but I was totally unimpressed and not satisfied with the recording. It sounded bad, and we
Really?
were being rushed the whole time.
yeah,
Dude, we're paying you
sucks.
by the hour. Like, don't rush us. If we need to rush, we'll rush ourselves. Like, we spent, I think, 5 minutes dialing guitar tone, and he was like, "That's fine. That sounds good. Hurry up, record."
Yeah, and
okay,
just-
second
and-
take. That's good. Next
and-
one. I'm like, no, dude.
And just charging by the hour, I think, is bullshit.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, I
you
don't
think
like
you
that.
want to juice it to make some money, you know?
Yeah, I didn't like that. But it's all about, I guess, listening to the style of you know, if someone's producing it or if they're just mixing it or whatever. But
Yeah, the
you gotta hear
engineer,
the demos and
the engineer
yeah.
always come into play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
It's
you
like
know,
you could have badass equipment, you know, but if you don't know what you're doing with it, you're not going to record. It's not going to sound good.
Not gonna
right?
sound
Like,
good at all. Yeah.
that's like my shitty mixes versus, you know, Mark's mix.
And I heard yours, man. It comes out,
Yeah,
comes
I
out
didn't
good,
mix
man. It's
that.
not clean.
Luke mixed everything that, like, you know, all that across 5 years shit.
Oh, so you lied? Cool. You just said,
Well,
like,
I
that's
mixed
me,
the
man. I was like,
drums.
fuck, this is awesome,
Yeah.
man.
Well, it was on
Sounds
my
cool.
shit. I mean, so it was like, it was halfway the
okay.
truth.
I've been doing it for, now that I think about it though, for a while. Home recording and getting my, you know, guitar tone dialed in. So it just takes tweaking and messing around and researching. I mean, there's YouTube now, so you could type in there how to do metal guitar tone,
Yeah.
and there's some guy that tells you every step on how to do it. You know, so it's pretty simple to learn. You don't want to waste a whole bunch of money on somebody that says they're gonna give you something good when, you know. They
Well,
don't.
especially for
Right.
demos, like what we
Yeah.
got, all the shit we got here, we can make a good demo.
Really good.
You know, really good demo. And I mean, the demo quality is like album quality, you know, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, and this is in a bedroom and not in a $1 million Indigo Ranch studio or something, you know, like where Deftones or Korn and shit recorded back in the 90s.
Yeah.
You could get a better sound in here now, you know. So if you're doing a demo, there's no incentive to go and pay a ton of money.
Yeah.
You know, you can do it yourself.
That's what we were talking about,
Yeah.
man. It's like,
So if you're doing
it
a
might
demo,
not be
there's
worth it,
no
yeah.
point in going and spending, you know, hundreds and hundreds of dollars to have somebody record you when you've got
Thousands, you mean?
thousands of dollars
Yeah.
to record, you know? Because you could take a demo here and you could send it off to get mastered and the thing will sound fucking amazing, you know? So it's just the game's changed. The game's changed. But if you're going to put out a record, I mean, you can't, you could, but I don't know. It probably wouldn't be as good, you know, if you had like the primo equipment, like your like vocals on those badass Newman mics, you know, the tube mics and shit. You know, it's just a difference in the level of equipment you're using. I think that's what you're paying for, is using their badass outboard gear, Avalon compressors versus you know, a plug-in.
Yeah.
You know, it's just going to be a little bit better, you know, and the, you know, the engineering side, you'll have somebody that's, you know, a lot more experienced, you know.
And you got to have good music too. That's another thing.
you-
Some people think, like they're gonna pay all this money and whatever shit they're doing, even if it's horrible,
what's
we're gonna be great.
Exactly.
And then they do it, and then they go nowhere. And I mean, you gotta have
The
good
music
stuff.
music
Yeah,
has
you
a
gotta-
lot to do with
You can
it,
have
man.
really good music and have a bad recording, and people will still like it because
Exactly.
it's different.
Right.
Yeah, crap in, crap out. You're
Yeah.
gonna put good shit in, you're gonna get good shit out. You
Yeah.
know, it's
It's just more impressive when you have a
really
good quality
nice
recording, man.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my high school band, we called Sulfur. We were fucking terrible, man. we played just we're all beginners, and
Yeah.
just playing like fucking drums from I don't know where. I don't even know where I got them. Actually, just like this, someone like
They
just
showed
gave
up.
them to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the singer's dad took us to it's called Studio 45. I don't know if it's still there. It's close to Buck Owens.
Oh, it was Studio 99.
No, I'm pretty sure Studio 45, the one we went to.
It was
I've
in
heard
that-
of Studio 99
Because that's in the
it
same
was
area.
like-
That's by Buck Owens. 99.
Yeah, it was on.
Really?
Yeah, it was on the. It was on.
Right. What's that street? Not Ar.
Was it not Gilmore or?
No, by the post office, right?
You go down.
It was
Buck
so
Owens
long
and you
ago,
made
man, I
right
don't-
down
I don't
that
even
little side
remember.
Yeah.
street, and it was on the
the left.
left-hand side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember
I
exactly
mean,
where
there's
it was.
probably a couple. Yeah, I'm sure that.
Yeah.
But
I think
yeah,
Studio
we
45 turned into Studio 99
Oh,
is
okay.
what it was.
They changed the number.
Yeah. When somebody else bought it, it was like an Indian dude, like a Native American dude.
no, when we went, there was just a Caucasian guy in there working.
A Caucasian.
Yeah, but we went in there and recorded the demo, and it sounded really clean. I mean, really fucking cool. And somehow we were able to get Crab Radio to
Play it?
play it live. Yeah,
That's
like
badass,
they interviewed us, whatever, and I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Dude, local radio stations need to do more of that shit. They like when I was in Biotica, they had like a local radio hour on like Friday nights, and they'd play bands demos from Bakersfield. They don't do that shit no more. But I think that's because they got bought by Clear Channel, and they're more of a corporate radio station now versus like
It's not
a
even rock
local.
anymore.
No, they're playing some like bullshit.
Yeah, I don't even listen to it anymore, man.
No, me
And when
I
they
just
don't
listen,
play
like-
the bullshit, they're playing the shit that I hated from like 1995. They're playing like Smash Mouth and fucking and who are they always playing? They're always playing the goddamn Offspring, Green Day,
Right, yeah.
all the bands that I fucking hated then and I still hate now. Like, god damn it, man.
Don't hate on Green Day.
I fucking hate them, dude. I didn't like them in '94. I didn't like Dookie. Don't like any of that shit.
I enjoyed the Dookie album when it came out. I was like in 7th grade.
Yeah,
But,
I love Green Day. I still do. I still
Yeah.
play Green Day.
You know
stuff
what?
sometimes for
Their
fun.
early shit, like Kerplunk, that 10,000 Light Years Away. I like that song. But that's from like 92 or something. That's like old Smashing Pumpkins is good too.
Oh, I hate Smashing Pumpkins. I hate that guy's voice.
Billy Corgan?
Yeah, his voice just is annoying to me.
It is different, yeah.
Have
But
you
the,
seen
the music is
It's different.
decent,
Yeah, the
music
music's
is
okay, I
decent,
guess.
yeah.
I just his voice ruins it. I don't like it.
Really? Have you seen that fucker's guitars? He has like a guitar
No.
company now. They're fucking hideous, dude.
It makes sense.
They're as ugly as a fucking guitar could possibly. I don't know how anybody would buy.
You know
one
who
of those.
started their own guitar company? Zach Wild has his Wild Audio, Wild Guitars.
Yeah, I've
They're
seen
made by
that, man.
They're Schecter guitars.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're built by Schecter with his name on them,
Yeah.
and they got a fucked up looking headstock, and I can't get.
They're
it.
different looking. He's going for like the
The Les Paul. He has like a Les Paul, like the bullseye type, like his old Les Paul, but it just the head.
I support Zach Wild in anything he does just because he's badass.
He's a fucking murderer, dude. He's
amazing,
bad, dude.
Yeah, honestly he could do whatever. And I would probably love it just
Yeah.
because he's Zach Wild.
Why would you leave Gibson though? I mean, Schecter had
'Cause
to
he
give him
can.
a fuck ton of money, dude.
Yeah.
They had to give him a ton of
Well,
money.
this is his they let him put his own name on his company and have creative control. That's why.
Yeah.
Gibson, I mean, he had his own
He had
Les
his
Paul
Les
body,
Paul.
but he couldn't. They probably didn't want to. Gibson's not the type of company like ESP or Kiesel where they'll do like a whole new design for you. They're gonna stick with what they do.
As far
I
as like,
really
the body
like
shape,
Body
and stuff.
shape, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, and with this new thing, he can. I mean, obviously, he's doing all these new shapes, which some of them are cool, some of them are too extreme for me, but I love them all because it's Zach Wild.
Yeah. He's
a-
bad.
He has a. I think he lives up in, from what I heard, in like Fraser Park area.
Really?
Yeah, from what I heard, he has a house up there. He's kind of secluded. He
I
doesn't
wouldn't
like
doubt
the city.
it. I
yeah.
mean, you're only, an hour and a half from LA.
Yeah.
You shoot down there for sessions or whatever, and you can kind of be secluded up there.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of actors, and no, I wouldn't say a lot, but there was some that lived up there in Fraser Park.
Mhm.
And
I've heard of
or
that
the
too.
Pine Mountain Club area. That's like the more resorty area up
okay.
above Fraser. It's nice, dude. It's a nice area. I
You know-
know one of the plant managers of the one of the power plants I go to. He just moved up there purely because it was better. The water coming in, like just his makeup water. Makeup water. His fucking incoming water source.
Makeup, like fate, like
No, dude, like the water that comes into his house, like tap water.
is that what you call?
That's
You're
in
a
the
water
Yeah, I'm a
specialist.
water guy. So
Yeah.
the incoming water, just his tap water, was really good quality water for making beer. And the altitude, the cooler temperatures.
Oh, cool.
He's like big into brewing. He's got a really killer setup, dude. Like legit. And he's up there. He bought a house so he could brew his beer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah,
down.
that's
I
cool.
recorded in a studio up there with Luke back in like 1999, and we drove up from San Diego when we were in the Marine Corps, and we went and recorded an EP in Fraser Park at this dude's home studio. It wasn't like this type of shit. It was all mixing console, reel to reel. It was pretty dope, man. And we recorded over there. It was nice, and it was in the summertime, and it was like nice and cool up there. Still,
Yeah, up in the mountains and stuff.
Yeah,
I only been there once, but I remember the weather being really, really cool. Like you have sunlight, but just a cool ass breeze.
Yeah.
blowing through the whole time.
Not like hot ass Baco, man.
No, not this.
It's starting
bottom
to get
of the valley
sweltering,
here.
dude. It's gonna be a hot summer.
Yeah,
I'm
it
not
is.
looking forward
We
to
haven't
it.
had a really like last summer wasn't that crazy. Compared
No,
to the,
no.
So I know this one is gonna, and the
It's
one
gonna-
before I was in North Dakota, so I don't know how that one
Yeah,
went.
you're gonna sweat your dick off this summer.
Yeah, it's gonna not be fun. And I don't have AC in my truck still. It's gone out like 6 times, and I don't feel like fixing it. So.
Ah, fuck.
Oh man.
Ah, fuck.
Damn
I'm gonna
it.
sweat. Ah.
Yeah. So,
Damn, Daniel.
Be using that 480 AC.
yeah.
Right, the 4 windows down, 80 miles an hour.
Yeah. There you go.
It's like a hot hair dryer, dude.
Yeah.
It'll dry off your sweat, but you're just
Not really, because the air here is so hot too.
Yeah, the
There's no
humidity.
cool-
right?
yeah,
it
it's,
sucks.
It's a dry heat though, dude. It's not as bad as being in the South, like with the humidity.
Man.
Fuck.
My dad's from a little town in Texas called Fort Stockton, and you get out of the car there and you start sweating in
Yeah.
the summer. I mean, it's and you can smell the air is like. I mean, it's not fun. So I at least we don't have that to worry about.
I got my first duty station after leaving.
Duty, like where you poop.
No, like a duty, like where I did my Marine Corps duty. My
Duty
first-
I thought you
station.
said
Is that
duty.
about- is that
My
about the
first-
bathroom?
Yeah,
station.
I call it a
What,
duty station.
I was in Pensacola,
Flush
Florida.
the makeup water.
Flush the
Like,
makeup
Makeup water. That goes to the injection well. I was in Pensacola, Florida, and they're like, "Hey, your first like 2 weeks here, we had to wear just a white T-shirt to indicate that we were still acclimating, so they wouldn't PT us. We'd had to get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to do our PT and everything, so that we could be done with work and everything by noon, because it was just so fucking hot, and it would be like 86 degrees, but like 95% humidity.
Right.
As
Yeah.
soon as you walk out of the barracks, out of the AC, you're just drenched in sweat.
Where was this?
Pensacola, Florida. It was right.
Oh, yeah.
It was in the Panhandle right there. So it's right on the border of like Alabama. So we're
Okay.
like 20 minutes away from Mobile, Alabama, and it was just hotter than fuck. It was so hot, dude. And then they sent us up to North Carolina, and it's, dude, the East Coast as a whole is just a different level. I'm like, man, I can't wait to get back to the West Coast. This is fucked up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Eesh, not fun.
The hottest temperature I ever felt was in Palm Springs.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was fucking terrible, man. It's
Arizona's
like
crazy.
114 degrees in some days.
Yeah, I think Arizona. We drive to Texas every other year now, and one time it was 128,
Goddamn.
126, something like that.
Damn. That's unheard of, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, no
That
dice.
sucks.
And then
No dice.
and then I went to the extreme cold in Dakota. Man, -60 was the coldest it got.
Jesus, man.
Oh shit.
And I
That's
was flying. It was I was coming back for Christmas, and that morning there's a huge blizzard, and I was like, damn, I'm not gonna be able to fly out. But we drove to the airport, and it took 2 hours for them to de-ice the plane because the plane was frozen. So they had to go. They have a whole like a steam machine. It's like some big, gigantic.
Yeah,
thing.
they're
They just
up on a
blow
lift
steam.
and they're blowing steam on the wings.
Just sitting there in the
Fuck,
plane waiting,
dude.
man. I was nervous as hell. I was like, dude, I hope
Yeah, I
we
wouldn't
make
want
it.
to get on
Super
it, man. It's
sketchy.
like,
Yeah.
what if like fucking fan is still frozen or something? You know,
Yeah.
just
Anything
Wouldn't wanna get
anything
on
below like -20 feels the same though. I mean, they tell you they have air advisories out there where don't go outside because you can freeze your lungs from breathing the air in. It's so cool.
Dude, the first time I went to Chicago for work, like a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, we flew into Midway in Chicago, and I went outside to catch the cab. I was like, what the fuck? This is like some next level shit. It was cold, dude. Like so cold that you feel like ice crystals growing on your nose hairs.
Yeah.
and shit.
immediately from going
Yeah,
outside.
and you're like eyes, like you feel like your eyes are freezing. But I was in the hotel and I'm flipping through channels and there was this like, it was like a movie, but it was on the new. It felt like a movie because you don't see this shit in California. It was like an older, like 4-level type warehouse looking building, old building. It was on fire, and they had these fire trucks and they're blowing the water on there. And there was like ice, like 6 feet thick on the walls of the building from the fire hoses. And then the water on the ground from the fire hoses, it was like halfway up the wheels of the fire truck, dude. It was like all encapsulated in ice. I was like,
It's
fuck,
dangerous, man.
dude.
when
That
it's-
is
when it gets
so
that cold.
gnarly.
Yeah.
You know, like you just don't see, and you're spraying it on a fire, and it's that cold to where the water's freezing on the side of the building. I was just like,
Yeah.
that's some next
One
level
of
cold.
one of my buddies came in from outside. He's like, I can't work, dude. It's too cold. I was like, yeah, chill. And I looked at his beard, and he's like, look, and I flicked it, and it was his beard. He had a long beard
was it
down to
breaking
here.
off?
It was icicles, dude. His whole beard. It was like -20 or 30 that day, and he was out there. I was like, dude, don't work outside. You just stay in here and chill.
God.
Freaking crazy, man. But I prefer the extreme cold over the extreme heat now. Honestly, I'd rather be in that.
Well,
than-
you can get warm, dude. It's like you can't cool yourself off, dude.
No, you
when
can't.
you're
I mean,
working outside.
yeah. I think we talked about this before. Like, you can't walk around naked and be perfectly freaking.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
if you
cool.
did,
Heat's
you
still
just
gonna
get a
get you.
Yeah.
sunburn on your dick.
Yeah.
Right? That would be so rude, though. Like,
Yeah, I was thinking, I hope I don't ever get a sunburn on my dick.
Ugh.
that'd be horrible. That could be possibly the worst thing you'd ever endure in life. Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah. I was gonna ask. Damn it.
What do you got, Marcus?
Awkward. I just went blank.
Hmm.
Because we started talking about weather
Yeah, I
and
know.
not music.
How the
Oh,
fuck did we get
yeah.
down
The
that?
music. Okay, I want to talk about this whole pay to play thing in Bakersfield that's happening that everyone's complaining about. What do you?
Are they doing that now here?
Oh, dude, they've been doing it for years,
What?
making
Oh,
you
I've
pay
been out,
to
I've
play
been out of
anywhere.
the scene way too long then.
Yeah. I
In
don't know,
Bakersfield?
Yeah. Have you ran into that?
No.
You haven't? There was a lot of discussion on the forums, like on Facebook, the Bakersfield page, and
I thought they were more talking about L.A., which L.A.'s
here.
always been pay to play.
no, here
I mean,
too.
even-
And
20 years ago.
and that's why I was saying, asking if it was in Bakersfield, because it's just Bakersfield. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's growing, but I mean, what kind of venue do you have that I would
That's
have
worth
to
it.
pay to play?
That's
you
why
know?
I
We
thought
don't
it's
have
ridiculous.
a House of
That's
Blues. We don't
fucked up.
have like
Yeah.
a Troubadour or some place that's
Right.
like a
Dude,
legit rock club.
I've played Jerry's before, and he made who was promoting that show? I forgot who it was back in the day.
Tim Gardena or
I can't stand. He's horrible. But it might have been him or the other dude.
I remember that dude put on a lot of shows. Like,
But they
especially
made
10,
us.
15 years ago.
pay. We had to sell a certain amount of tickets, and if we didn't, we had to pay the rest, just to play at Jerry's. And,
Yeah.
Like, how many
I
tickets? are we
remember
talking,
working
though?
with him, and
Yeah.
we were doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so it is around
it's
here,
fucked up.
and it still is like that from what I hear. I mean, there's places that'll pay you to play there. It depends on, but for original music, from what I hear, that happens, man. It's just I don't understand it. I don't.
Yeah,
get it.
like the bands that are getting paid are cover bands,
Yeah.
and they're playing like 4-hour sets.
Mm-hmm. Well, however long they're playing, they're getting paid. Is the point? Yeah, but I don't know, man. Like you said, it's Bakersfield. We don't have any kind of maybe Buck Owens because it's so, but still, like to me, you're bringing them business, you know. So you shouldn't. I don't understand why you would pay them to help promote them, you know.
What does that mean?
Dude, are we gonna rock some DRE? That's gonna end up getting us flagged on YouTube. Watch.
Yeah, right.
Dude, Luke
Phones
played
ring
a
in and
fucking
music starting to
few
play out of
seconds of
nowhere.
a,
Yeah.
What the fuck's going on?
a song on his phone, and that shit got us flagged on YouTube, dude.
Really?
Yeah. Dude, Juan, you really need to silence that, bro.
Yeah.
You can't figure it out.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
the pay to play shit. I had no idea that was happening here, especially for the fucking level of club that we have. I mean, it's a pizza place. This is the main place that people play,
Right.
and they want you to pay. They're out of their fucking mind. Like that's not gonna happen.
You talking about Jerry's?
Yeah.
No, well, they're not doing that at Jerry's.
Oh, that's
No,
good.
but,
I hope not.
Yeah.
Where were they doing the pay to play at?
Well, that was when we did it. I'm talking years ago. It was Jerry's.
That
but
has to be the promoter.
really?
that was
dude.
probably 6-7 years ago. Well,
Oh,
it
yeah, it
does.
must have
It
been,
does line
yeah.
out with the promoter. It doesn't have to do with the venue as much as it does with promoting. But nowadays, too, promoting isn't what it used to be either.
No,
now,
they don't-
Now promoters think that they just
put a post up on Facebook,
and that's their
and
and
they're
then
like,
they're taking
oh,
money.
cool.
Yeah, that's not. I don't know. And then they're wanting you to pay. So I don't get it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they're like back. You know, when I was playing heavily in bands around town, this was pre-Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was even pre-MySpace. So how did you get out there? You had to street team. Like our band had a street team,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd be out there, you know, on Friday night, you know, for like weeks before the show, and everybody coming out at the end of the show, they're handing out
Flyers.
flyers.
Yeah.
Or they're
Remember
handing
doing
out
that also.
CDs.
Yeah.
You know, like check out our band. You know, and it was feet on the pavement type shit, and that's what people miss now. You know, like people are too fucking lazy to go out there and connect with people.
Yeah,
and
just
do a street team.
Facebook.
Yeah, they're just like, oh,
post
I'm gonna
and,
throw my flyer up on Facebook.
All that
and-
good.
Like, dude, that's not the way to do it, man. You got to get out there and connect with people. You know, you go out there and talk to somebody and you're in the band, they're more likely, I think, to come see you. They're like, oh, I met the guitar player. I met the drummer from, you know, the Dream Nexus. Dude, I'm going to go check those guys out because they were cool, you know? And they develop that connection. You're like, oh, okay, you know, I know that band now. I'm going to go see them. Rather than just seeing a generic, you know, post on Facebook.
It's all digital now, man. It bugs me too when people take videos at concerts. Pictures is cool, like take pictures or a little snippet of a video, but there's people that sit there the whole concert on their phone.
Yeah, and they're holding their phone up, and you're
Like,
watching the concert.
I'm here
through your
watching. You're not
screen.
watching the concert. You're watching your phone. Like that's not enjoyable to me. I don't watch the band. You know.
Yeah.
I have no desire to take videos of bands live. I just watch it on YouTube. You can go watch their video.
Yeah,
Right.
chances are the show that you were at, you can watch 100 videos on YouTube.
That's why recently, what was his name? David from Disturbed. Did you guys hear about that? How
No.
he called out this lady was on the front balcony at the House of Blues on that top section.
Yeah.
And he was starting a song and he goes, "Hey, you. Yeah, you. Get off your phone. This is a concert. Quit texting." Everyone's like, "Yeah, get her out of here." All the people, you know, I agree with anything you say because you're cool. And, she's like, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And he cussed her out and got mad, right? And after the show, someone interviewed and she said it was my son. And I had left him like with a babysitter and I had to check up on him. I was texting and making sure he was okay.
Yeah.
And then David Draymond felt bad and released a statement and said he apologizes, that he just hates it when people are on their phones at concerts, but he understands now, you know, it makes sense. He thought that she was just texting, you know, randomly.
And that is a horrible feeling, man. Like when you're playing and
So
you
they're on their
look and
phone,
somebody's on
like
their
this.
phone, like texting.
It
and
happens, huh?
You're trying to, you know, they're sweating, grinding and shit, trying to play good and, you know.
Well, you're putting on
I mean,
performance, dude. Everything
It
that
is a
you've
little
done,
disrespectful.
It is. I agree
Yeah.
with that too. I don't like that either. I don't know.
From the time you started playing drums, everything you've gone through in your musical journey until that point goes into that performance, and they're texting. You know, it's your life's work, dude, up on the stage for that 30 or 45 minutes. And
Well,
they're
to me,
just-
it's not,
it's disrespectful.
yeah, that's
For sure.
deep, man. But for me, it's just you're there to watch that's you're not there to sit there on your phone. You can do that whenever you want. You're there to watch something like that's only going to happen once. It's a live performance. Just watch it, dude, and get on your phone afterwards. It's not that
exactly.
People are addicted to their phone and social media though now. It's sad.
Well, I saw it was like a little meme on Facebook or something, and it showed these kids like at the beach, and they had a suntan. And then it was like white where their phone was. And a phone. And it was like a tan line from them holding their phone.
For 3 hours straight on the phone.
That's how kids are though. They don't do shit, man, without that phone.
Even adults.
Yeah, I can be guilty of it too. Like,
no, you're not that bad. I know people that you have conversations with, and you're talking to them in the middle of the conversation, they just start doing this on their phone.
That's super.
I had
annoying.
a friend that did that, and I go, hey, dude, if we're out, like we were out at public eating sushi or something, I was like, if you do that again, I'm gonna leave. I don't like that. Like, I hate when people do that.
Right.
Well, I'm listening. I'm like, no, you're not. You're talking to somebody.
Yeah,
well, I'm trying to talk to you.
Conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Disrespect. Kids these days. In my day, we didn't have a cell phone.
I walked in the snow both ways uphill.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's how we sent messages.
Dude, you knew where your friend's at by where all the fucking bikes were on somebody's lawn. You're like, oh, that's where the party's at.
Yeah. Instant Messenger, is that what you said? AOL Instant Messenger? That was the first. That's where it all started.
Yeah. That's like back in the day.
You went home. I got home from like 6th, 7th grade or junior high and got straight on that shit.
You've got mail.
Yeah. Yeah, you still use AOL, Ted. You're old school.
Dude, I'm just stuck in my ways, man.
Yeah.
The Beat Lab Podcast at AOL.com. Shoot us a message. Why is there?
What's up? Me? You talking to me? Or?
No, that was
I'm just talking to cyberspace.
Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah.
Good plug there.
That was a good plug. That was. Dude, so canceled show. You guys got to get in the studio. I'm bringing it back full circle. You guys got material that's like ready to go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got 4 tracks that
are fucking ready.
That we want to put on and
you
that
need
we
to
worked
tell
hard
your
on.
Brother, quit fucking around and let's freaking record some music.
Yeah, like I said, I mentioned you, man, and that's likely what we're gonna end up doing is going to an in-house studio.
Yeah. Well, dude,
to do the
if it's a
demo.
demo, yeah. If if you guys are trying to do something else, then
We're trying to make like an official EP,
yeah.
just because
Well, you gotta
we
demo
think the songs are
out.
actually.
You got to be able to live. When you're practicing something, you think it's one way, and then you listen to it, and you're like, ooh, wait, this needs to change, that needs to change. Like, that's one thing with Luke. He likes fucking demoing the shit out of things until it's absolutely perfect, And if you have the capabilities, why not?
True.
You just demo it until you're sick of it, and then when you're sick of it, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's kind of how it is, really. I know there's a lot of the across 5 years demos that we did. Dude, some of those things we did 5, 6, 7 times. They went through different renditions. Where we changed things until we got it just right. And then you're like, okay, that's the demo. That goes on the shelf. That song, that way you can take it to a producer or wherever you're going to record, and you go, hey, this is our demo. They can break it down, and they go, okay, this is what you guys are doing, and then you can recreate that at a higher level, with hiring gear and whatnot, and get that perfect mix and get it mastered and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, when you guys do that, dude, I'm looking forward to hearing it, man.
Yeah, me too.
Cool.
I want to check it out. Do you have? How many songs do you have that are like lists that people can listen to right now? Do you have anything online or?
We have just one song online with a playthrough video.
Okay, I've seen that one.
It's on YouTube, and that's pretty much it. That's all we have recorded.
Mm-hmm.
We got like a couple live shows that sound pretty cool, but I guess
get in there, man. You guys need to do it so people can hear it, man. Yeah. I'm interested for sure.
You guys are definitely fucking good.
It's cool that there's an instrumental band out of Bakersfield now. I mean, it's like you said that here that doesn't happen. I don't know if that's ever really happened here.
No.
Yeah, like I said, the that style is still coming up.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting more popular. Like Chon, they like their last tour, they just sold out every single show on their tour. You know what I mean? And Skella Summit's coming up, and It's not the most popular style, but
What made you guys go
it's
down
on the
that
rise.
road? Was that a conscious decision, or was it just something that kind of happened?
I think we just started drawing influences from these bands, you know, and
like Animals
just
as Leaders.
exactly, yeah, and just got inspired to do it, you know,
Yeah.
and
I know me and
put
Mark
that up.
were gonna attempt to do that. Mark's probably still gonna do it. Just
Yeah, I'm
without-
definitely still gonna do it.
just
but
without
we were
me.
talking about that a little bit when you were getting your water or whatever earlier.
Mm.
But it's hard finding musicians that want to do that and that can.
right.
Really, that can. You know, you got to find somebody that's like super capable.
And
Yeah.
that's into it. They're not like, oh, it's a chore. Like, okay, I guess I'll do it. Like,
Right,
You need somebody
right.
that.
Which for me, that's kind of what
Yeah.
it boiled down to. It's
Yeah.
like
You want them to like the music.
Yeah.
and,
I like
be
it.
into it and everything. Right?
I definitely like it.
But,
It's just a fucking lot of work, dude, that I wasn't willing to do.
Yeah,
You know,
dick.
not that I wasn't willing to. I didn't have the time. I mean, I couldn't practice as much as I needed to be able to pull that shit off. I mean, it's super complicated.
You're super complicated.
You're super complicated.
Gay.
I love you.
Scale the Summit, though. I've been listening to them since their first CD. I love them. I actually took
Purple
lessons
Eggplant.
from Chris Letchford for a little bit on
Oh,
Skype.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
that's
really
sweet,
cool,
man.
really cool dude. When they played at Jerry's back in the day, I got to talk with them, and they're real down to earth. And man, live they sound amazing. They're clean and they're good. And their music's not like it's like when you compare instrumental bands, you're talking about them, and then you compare them to like Animals as Leaders, which everyone is like big for now. Totally different style.
Yeah, for
They're
sure.
they're more like kind of what's the word I'm looking for?
They're definitely not as technical.
Yeah, they're not.
But, they're still the musicianship is definitely still there.
Yeah.
man. They're great musicians. And,
Yeah, their songs are more
more-
structured. That's what I'm trying to say. Like it's
Right.
more of a structured type of like this riff and then this
repeating
riff.
parts and stuff.
But
yeah.
it works, man. I mean, I used to
love
play World
Scale
of
the Summit,
Warcraft
man.
for a little bit, and for like 6 months straight, and I would listen to Scale the Summit. Was it Carving Desert Canyons? Was that?
Yeah,
I would listen to that nonstop while I was
it's a good
playing
album,
that.
man. Yeah.
So good, and their newer stuff, like you said, is good too.
I listened to
Yeah.
the new record. It was good.
Yeah, it's cool.
When I was banging out some WoW, World of Warcraft, I'd be listening to 3 Inches of Blood.
Really?
Fuck yeah, dude.
That's
Straight
like
up
perfect
metal.
WoW music, dude.
Yeah.
That is actually.
They're coming! The Dark Horse is coming! And then you hear the sword coming out. Shing! Dun, 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 dun. Ah!
Damn.
That's as good as it gets for playing fucking World of Warcraft, dude. You gotta rock out some 3 Inches of Blood.
Yeah, that sounds like the type of Viking.
Viking
Yeah,
metal,
it's
dude.
Viking metal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you see Lamb of God when they played at Stramler Park with Hatebreed?
Yeah, I was there.
Was that
And
rock?
they were moshing
Yeah.
around the swing set.
Yeah,
and
yeah, I
stuff?
was in that. Yeah,
Yeah.
You were in that mosh pit?
yeah, in the circle pit.
Oh.
It was like around the engineer. Like,
Yeah, they had that big
Oh,
tent.
yeah.
the
And
table
Randy
in the
Black's
middle.
like, this is the first show where there's a fucking swing set.
Yeah, it's like by far the weirdest place I've ever fucking played.
Was
I'll,
it-
I'll
was it
meet
for
you in the
rock?
jungle gym.
Was it Rockin' Roots or was it just?
No, it was it was Hatebreed, Lamb of God, fuck. What was the band with the
3
fucking,
inches of blood and
yeah, 3
Behemoth?
inches, Behemoth
Yeah.
Oh,
with the
wow.
fucking armor, dude.
Yeah.
They wore armor.
You never know when you're gonna get attacked.
Fuck no, man. You gotta stay ready,
Yeah.
dude. And those guys, they're ready, man. They're ready for some shit. They got the armor on, maybe a battle axe on stage.
Man,
That's-
I miss Rockin' Roots. I remember seeing Animals as Leaders there too. They played one of the small stages on the side. And after the show, Tosin was just walking around and just standing there. I was like, oh, just walked up to him and talked to him for 20 minutes or so. But they had some really good bands there, man.
30 Seconds to Mars played.
Yeah, All Shall Perish played there. Man, Of Mice and Men. Pierce the Veil, everyone's favorite band.
Do that one video where they're dancing around in gas
I
masks.
wouldn't
That's a good video.
I wouldn't even know.
I'm kind of into it.
Really?
You know, Leisure's sister, she's in the 30 Seconds Army or whatever their fan club is. And at that Rockin' Roots, she walked up and she has that. You know how Leisure's got the 30 Seconds tattoo on his arm?
Yeah.
She has like a tattoo like that too. And she was talking to Jared Leto and he's like, fuck it, work our merch table. So there's freaking Elena. She's working the merch table for 30
Wow.
Seconds to Mars. And they actually thanked her in like the liner notes of that Beautiful Lie album.
Oh, they put her in there?
Yeah,
That's
I was
cool.
like, that's
cool.
fucking cool, man. Like, they were in touch with their fans, you know. They haven't done anything in a minute though. I think Jared's been back focusing on acting or something.
I thought he went to jail.
Jared Leto?
Oh, no, I'm thinking of Jared from Subway.
Dude, that fucker's gonna get stabbed in the pinta, man.
Apparently, he's trying to appeal it because he said it was his other coworker that framed him.
Whatever.
I
He's
mean,
a
that's
fucking-
gross. I hope he gets. If he
Yeah,
really
he's a
did that,
piece
I
of
hope
shit.
he
Fuck
well, he
him.
will.
Yeah, dude.
Well, no, they probably have him secluded in the celebrity portion of the jail where they have like.
It doesn't matter, dude. If you're in ad seg,
Yeah.
like there's still inmate movement.
Right.
They're
yeah.
gonna catch you in a hallway. They're gonna catch
Good.
you in medical.
I hope
They're
they
gonna
do.
catch you somewhere,
Yeah.
and you're gonna end up getting fucked up.
You know, dudes. Some dudes in
Literally.
their lifers, they don't give
Yeah,
a fuck.
yeah,
dude.
they don't
like, you know,
fucking
they
care.
don't
That's
wanna fuck
true.
you
There's
up.
nothing
They want
to
to fuck you if they
lose.
will. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he'll end up getting his. If he hasn't gotten it already, he's gonna end up taking a fucking $5 footlong in his butthole.
Be free, actually.
No, but yeah, Leto or whatever. He's all into acting now. He's a good actor.
He's a really good actor.
He's just a
dude.
talented. That's one thing I'll admit, man. I'm not really into their music, but that dude is a talented dude. To be able to do all that stuff, you know, he's got a lot of talent. That's for sure.
Dude, his brother's a damn good drummer too, dude. Shannon Leto. He's fucking bad.
Who's he play for?
I don't know. 30 Seconds to Mars.
Oh, that was a legit question. You don't have to make me feel stupid.
I love you, Purple Eggplant.
God.
Yeah, dude. That guy's uber talented, man, for sure.
You guys heard the new Gorgira?
Yes,
dude.
we've been
Yeah,
talking
the-
about that nonstop.
Yeah,
What
that's
is that?
a
It's that one song,
Stranded?
dude.
Stranded, yeah.
Stranded. Fucking awesome, dude.
It's so simple, but it just hits you, man. It's just
Yeah,
so,
it drives.
The way
man.
they put that song together,
That's
the way
what it-
structured
yeah.
and the riffing is
the
just
vocals, everything.
yeah.
Have you heard the rest of it? Has the album came out yet, or is that just a single to lead the
That's a
album?
single, but I don't
Yeah.
know I think the album comes out in June, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's coming out.
I'm gonna
soon,
get that.
but,
Yeah, that's gonna
I'ma
be
get that for show.
sick. For show.
Getting that
I'll
for
get
show.
for show.
Was that super bad?
Yeah,
Yeah.
For show.
I'm gonna get that for show.
Get that Gorgira album for sure.
show. Yeah, they're good.
I
Francesco
never
told me about
got
them.
into them like before though. They've been out
Really?
forever, dude.
They're older stuff. I can't pronounce the song that I like. It's some, I don't know. Are they where are they from?
They're from France. aren't
Yeah,
they?
it's French. So the name of the song is French. It's
Yeah,
like
I know
a
what
two
song you're
something,
talking about.
La
Yeah.
Fon-
I never even tried.
La
I
La
just-
Fonda, a two La Fonda or something.
So
It's,
Fonda was
fraught.
in Napoleon Dynamite.
no, that song's really good. If you haven't heard that one, Ted, you should listen to that song too. But
Yeah, I'll check it out.
the new one, man.
That was ridiculous.
told
Dude.
you
When you
guys
showed
about
me
that.
that, I was like, "Fuck, that's a damn good song."
it's
man.
already at like, I think 3 or 4 million, and for
Yeah.
them,
It hit
it's
a million
insane,
in
yeah.
like the first
Week,
week.
yeah.
I
And
think
they were
it's been
like,
out for
"What
like
the
3
hell?"
weeks.
Yeah,
and-
this CD is they're gonna break out even more with this one. I think. I'm hoping.
Yeah, they changed their. Well, this single sounds a little bit more like a mainstream. More
Yeah,
simple,
it's a little,
you know
it's
what
a
I
little
mean?
cleaner,
but it's
more
still
straight
heavy.
ahead type.
It's still heavy,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, it is.
So
Yeah.
they're
You've
doing
got to
it.
be
They're
more
doing it right,
palatable,
man.
dude, to make the money, and they finally figured it out.
Doing it right, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how Villa Maya like record sales and shit is doing after the singer change.
Better.
I guarantee
Just
that-
because they have clean
yeah,
singing,
because
in
they
it, they're
have
gonna
clean
do better.
vocals.
It's
They're
be
gonna
better.
they're gonna sell more records. You know.
I heard a new band today. Here I wrote it. Psychroptic. I don't know if they're old or new. Have you heard of
I've
them?
heard the band name.
I've
I've
heard
never
of
heard
them.
the music.
Dude, I heard on Liquid Metal one of their songs played today on the way here, and if I put it in my phone, that means I loved it. It was. You guys need to listen to that. I don't know what the song was called though.
See, the like Liquid Metal, they'll play like underground unsigned band demo shit. Like you could submit it to XM and they'll play your shit.
Yeah, on the certain segments of it. Yeah, you can even host your own segment on there.
Can you?
Yeah, they have once or twice a week. They have a random person like you go in and online and do it, and you talk and you host a whole like hour show, play all your favorite songs or whatever.
That's tight.
Oh,
I've met
shit.
Jose Mangrin, dude. At
Who?
Jose from
What's his last name?
is it Mangrin?
Mangarin?
What is it? Do you
It's
fucking
just Mangin.
Mexican?
It's just
Fuck.
Mangin. It's just Mangin.
Mangin?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Mandarin. Jose Mandarin. Joe. At least you didn't say Jose.
Jose, like
Or
Jose,
Joe.
Jose Aldo.
No, he's badass. He's like brother.
Hey, brother.
Hey, brother. He's the coolest freaking host.
He was the
ever.
host of the it was Periphery, 12-Foot Ninja, and Dead Letter Circus, and Born of Osiris. He was. They were like, it was like a man. It was it was called Affliction Metal Night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
I heard
it was
about
at the observatory.
Yeah.
And they were doing this thing where you had to tweet random shit, and he'd go up on stage and he'd be like, oh, and he picked me and Leisure, and he gave us like T-shirts and shit. So it was pretty cool. And we like went and met him at the bar, and we were talking to him. I was like, dude, I got the very first like Sirius radio. It was like the Sirius Sportster in like 2005, and you know, he was on Liquid Metal then too. Yeah. And it was crazy, dude. I was like, dude, I've been listening to you since like the start of satellite radio. I was like, fucking crazy.
And he's all, who are you? Get away from me.
Fuck you.
No, I'm just kidding. He wouldn't do that. He's too nice of a dude.
He was a super, super, super nice guy.
Yeah, you could tell he's genuine.
Yeah,
for
genuinely
sure.
a nice guy.
Yeah.
There was like a video of him on Instagram or Facebook or something where he's in the car and he's driving, and his daughter's like, yeah, let's listen to this metal band. And he was like, yeah, finally.
Oh, I've seen that video.
Yeah, he's like all pumped up.
He's a good vocalist too. I don't know if he's in a band anymore, but he's a good screamer, man.
Yeah, he'll do like his low growls on the air. He'd be like, ooh.
That's a goal of ours. We need to have him on.
Oh, dude, that would be sick if we had Jose on. He's super cool. I
Yeah.
bet. Shit, if he finds time in his schedule, he'd probably be down to do something like that. Because he's like, he just seems like the type of guy that would be super accommodating. Yeah. You know? Mm-hmm. Just like our friend here, Juan, coming into the Beat Lab. And hanging out with us. Exactly. Couple of assholes.
Yeah. Good to be here, man.
Fuck.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. Dude, it was really cool, man, having you in, man. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything you want to plug for your band?
Well, for the band, just keeping a lookout for the recording, man. Be coming out soon.
Yeah, and we'll definitely, you know, when you guys are done with that, you know, we'll definitely plug it on here and you know, throw it up on the Beat Lab Facebook and try to get it out there to people that listen to the podcast.
Yeah,
cool.
Sure. You know, we want to, dude. It's about pushing like local music too. You know, we want to have more local musicians. You know, we've been doing a lot of like interviews like on Skype and shit, but we need to, you know, we do need to have more of our local guys, because dude, this is our scene, you know, and how are we gonna know what's going on if we're not talking to active musicians in our scene too?
Right,
you know, so it's important to connect with the people that are out there doing it now, because you know, Mark, you've been out for a minute, you know, I know I've been out for a while, so it's nice to get like what's the state of local music and what's going on here in our town.
Yeah, and it's just a cool way of putting it out as well.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just
get an hour and a half to talk about shit, you know, and just get whatever you need to say out.
But people that are a fan of your music that maybe they haven't met you yet, it's a cool way for them to see you just in a free form conversation, just sitting around talking with a couple guys. Like they can get to know like who Juan is.
To me, that's important too with bands in general. Like, I mean, cool, you know, you're a cool dude, man. I'm sure you guys are all like that, you know. So it's never fun meeting a musician that you looked up to and they're assholes or they're dicks or whatever. So it was cool having you on, man.
You know what the biggest buzzkill was, as a fan, was, you know, I was a big fan of Alice in Chains when I was younger, and Sean Kinney, the drummer, Alice in Chains. Like when I was coming up, he was a big influence too, you know. And Luke was playing in Seattle with Edema, and he called me up and he goes, "Man, I hate to break this to you, but fucking Sean Kinney's an asshole." I'm like, "Oh fuck, man!" Like, you had to tell me that. Like, you told me he's just a dick, you know. So
you never know.
Yeah, you know, some of the guys. Like, I met Chris Adler. I was at the.
He's cool.
I was at the House of Blues in L.A. and I was standing in line, and there was Chris Adler just standing right here, just standing there, freaking. I was like, "Fuck it!" I went under the rope, walk over there. I'm like, "Hey, man, thinking about buying a Makepex kit. Like, what do you think? And he's like, oh, I fucking love it. I'm like, yeah, we're right. So, and then we just started talking about drums, and it ended up being like a 20-minute conversation. He's like, hey, go to the merch booth and you can get a wristband and you can get like all your shit signed and stuff after the show. You meet the band. I was like,
Man,
Yeah, he seems
that's
like a
cool,
cool dude.
man.
you know, and I was like, dude, like, all it took was somebody taking the initiative to go over there and talk to him.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
a lot of the guys are super accommodating, man. Like, I met all the guys in CKY, and they were like all signing my shit, and they're like, oh, freaking Jesse, the drummer's in the bus. Like, go bang on the door and he'll come out. I'm like, Jesse, you motherfucker, come out here and sign my CD. He's like, he pops his head out the window. He's like, is it over yet? I'm like, yeah, it's fucking over. Like, he's like, give it here.
That's awesome.
He's like, here's a CKY patch. Get the fuck out
I
of
did
here.
that with All That
Yeah.
Remains, dude. I found their tour bus in the back, and my buddy's a hardcore fan, and we were just knocked on. No one was around, and out comes Phil, the singer. He's like, hey, what's up? Just trying to see if you guys want to talk for a second. Yeah, sure, I'll come out and talk for a
Little
while.
beautiful Phil Labonte with his fucking little. He's like 5'2",
Yeah, he's actually pretty short.
He's
in real
fucking
life.
super
Not-
short.
Not 5'2". I mean,
maybe 5'3".
5'2.5". No, he's like probably 5'5".
Yeah, he's like 5'5", maybe
5'6".
5'6". Yeah.
Cool dude though. So you never know.
Yeah, it always makes it better when you enjoy a band and you meet them and
they're
they're
cool.
cool people.
Yeah.
You know,
It makes
it
you
makes
love
you
that
like the
band
music.
more.
It makes you like the
it
music
does.
more.
Yeah,
for sure,
and,
man.
yeah. Unearthed was another one. I got to hang out with at the House of Blues before the show, and they're fucking funny as hell.
Really?
Yeah, their drummer at the time, I don't know if it's still their drummer. I forgot his name. He has a big old red beard. He would talk to me the whole time. He just stood next to me for like half an hour. Hey, oh yeah, all goofy and,
Yeah.
and fun, and yeah. So
We were at Jerry's Pizza, and we were seeing Bleeding Through, and it was like Walls of Jericho and a bunch of other metalcore bands. And the drummer from Bleeding Through was in that. You know, at the very back of Jerry's, like the hallway by the stairs.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody will like kind of pack their gear back there.
Mhm.
At the show. The drummer for Bleeding Through was back there sitting on his throne, like warming up on a practice pad. And me and Kraus, the guitar player from Rewind yesterday, we went back there and we started talking to him. And he's like, hey man, do you guys want to help me set my shit up? And I'm like, yeah man, I'll help you, you know. So when there was time for them to load their shit up on stage, we went and I was helping him set his drums up and shit, and I was like, oh, this is cool, Bleeding Through is badass.
Yeah.
And it was on This Love, This Is Murderous or whatever, that album with the have you heard that record, that Bleeding Through record with the fucking, it's got the Boondock Saints intro.
Yeah. I have,
Yeah, you
I
know?
have, yeah.
This place was Armageddon. Yeah, it's fucking bad. So I set his shit up, and we like started to walk down to get back in the crowd. He's like, whoa. He's like, don't go nowhere. He's like, just stand right back here. So me and Kraus are like standing up on the stage during Bleeding Through's whole set.
at Jerry's,
At Jerry's.
there was
That's
enough
awesome,
room.
man.
Yeah, we were just standing
You must
up
have been
there,
right
like,
back by that little pillar.
by the
Just-
pillar,
yeah.
yeah. We were
Just
up
sitting
there on
back,
stage.
kinda
Yeah.
crouched up.
Yeah, that's cool.
So you got to
was-
see
it
the
was-
drums from the back and everything.
Yeah, it was
Shit,
cool. Yeah, and I, at that time, I was like, I was all into Bleeding Through. That record was pretty killer. So, it just takes being a little bit outgoing and going and talking to some of your favorite musicians, and you'll find out like what they're about.
Yeah.
And if they're cool, like I said, man,
90% of the time they are, especially in the metal community. They want people to talk to them. But every once in a while, one in every, 20 or 30, you might meet a douchebag. But
most of the
they're out there.
douchebags you meet are, unfortunately, they're working at Guitar Center. Me and Kyle had a fucking song in our old fucking band called Guitar Center Douchebag.
really?
Yeah, that was the name of the track, dude.
GCD?
Guitar Center Douchebag.
Sounds like a country song.
Fuck it. Like, we can write a song called Guitar Center Douchebag.
No, because then we'll never get good deals there.
I know. I like going into Guitar
I love
Center.
Guitar Center, man. Those guys are all awesome.
Why are you laughing, Mark?
Do you actually work there, bro?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
You'd like to.
I'll take anything right now.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, fuck, man. I think we're about to turn into a pumpkin, man.
Oh, God. You said that again.
It's time. It's time.
Yep.
Hey, the Beat Lab podcast, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Check out Dream Nexus.
Check out Dream Nexus.
What's do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have Facebook?
Yeah, we have YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. as
Just
well.
type in the Dream Nexus.
Yeah.
Search up
Yeah.
Dream Nexus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Check
And
us out.
yeah, check them out, man. Like I said, musically, musicianship. You know, you're not going to find much better here in Bakersfield than the Dream Nexus as far as core musicianship, man. Like the fucking guitar player is fucking ridiculous. That bass player, he's playing like a fucking 6-string bass.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, Tori.
Killing, dude. And then
he
Juan
fucking shreds, man.
Shreds. You know.
Oh, thank you
So
guys.
it was badass having you on, man. I was
Cool.
glad that you finally got to get in here. I know we talked about it for months.
Let's do a full band sesh one time with the whole band coming in
Yeah.
here. That'd be cool.
Oh,
Maybe
dude,
when you
that'd be
guys are
great.
done with the EP, everybody come in and we'll promote it.
Yeah, we'd definitely be down
Yeah,
for that,
fuck
man.
yeah. So tell the guys, dude, we're
That'd be
definitely down
awesome.
for that. And dude, we appreciate having you on, man.
Cool. No, thank you guys for having me.
All right,
Sure.
Right on.
Beat Lab, we're out. Later.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Okay.
Peace out.